गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। एज यू नो, just a short time back, Iran was attacked by USA at Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. This is an option which we had discussed earlier. And let me first, what we're going to do now is go through an initial analysis of what happened and what's coming ahead and the things as we know at this point of time. By evening, I'm sure we'll get more details, and I'll come back to you in the evening with Mr. Sri Iyer and talk in detail. But let's get the fundamentals of what happened now so that everything is in context and what are the broad options from where whole story is going to go. And let me tell you, this is not the end of the whole story. Okay, let's reconstruct the whole thing. 2:30 in the morning, Natanz, Fordo, and Esfahan were hit, right? And this is President Trump who has announced it. So let's first listen to him.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's number one state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
So he says future military attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. And he's also saying the nuclear facilities at Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan are completely obliterated. But these are initial reactions. I'm sure the president of USA has enough evidence to back up what he has said, right? So we'll not, at this point of time, say what about this thing. But one thing I'm sure, this, so, his Nobel Prize, I think, is going to be in air unless he puts up, thing on the Nobel Prize committee also to give him a Nobel Prize, a GBU on them. But that's a different story. Okay, let's see some more details which you have, because before then only then we can get some logic into the story, which I'm trying to construct, and its initial analysis.
Fox News alert. I just spoke to the President of the United States. I have some new information and breaking details to share about tonight's what is historic air campaign. Now, tonight, Iran's nuclear ambitions, they are officially dead. It appears the United States just completely obliterated Iran's top secret Fordo nuclear facility with 6 huge bunker buster bombs. It was originally speculated that you would only need 2. It turns out they used 5 to 6, dropped from America's stealth B-2 bombers. And that's not all. 2 other major Iranian nuclear sites, Natanz and Esfahan, were wiped out with 30 Tomahawk missiles launched by American submarines some 400 miles away. Everyone is out of harm's way for now. That does not mean that American assets in the region are not at risk. And we are monitoring the Iranian response or potential response all throughout the night.
So, no, he is giving some additional information. And the information he is giving is it's just not the GPUs which were used. 6 GPUs were used at Fordo, and Esfahan and Natanz were taken out by SLBMs, Tomahawk SLBMs, which were off the Gulf submarine launched. It's a new capability, and which I don't think anyone would have had the defense against it. Definitely not Iran, which doesn't have any. It's now actually Iran is fighting blind, right? Unless the Chinese are giving it some hint. But I don't think the Chinese are in it for their own self. And they see which side of the slice it is buttered. And I'll talk of the Chinese thing tomorrow. Actually, I was to do that today, but I put it off till tomorrow. Okay, this is what the story so far. So 3 sites taken off, one by GBUs, the other by Tomahawk missiles. Right. Completely obliterated. We don't know what the reaction of the thing is. So to just put it in perspective, this is Isfahan, this is Natanz, and this is Fordo. Fordo is the one which is deep underground. Natanz is half underground, half over. Isfahan is an enrichment facility. Okay. Now this is the reaction from the Israeli news, but first reaction. They're not going to keel over. Let's be very clear on that.
من هدف مشروع ایران هستند. آمریکا با این اقدامی که انجام داد علیه ایران و حریم هوایی ایران را شکست و جنایت علیه ایران انجام داد دیگه جایی در منطقه غرب آسیا نداره. آقای رئیس جمهور آمریکا شما شروع کردید و ما تمومش خواهیم کرد.
So he's very clear. He says, you have started it, I'll finish it, and no American facility in West Asia is safe. Well, this is the first reaction, like I said. So it's not one of... okay. Let's see what next. Let's see the reaction from Benjamin Netanyahu.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
So he's absolutely over the moon, that this has happened. And this is what he always wanted. History will dissect whether he led America into the war or America walked it. They wanted it this way, but what are the repercussions? That is to be seen. Now the story is there. It's done. Okay. I don't have photographs of that. That will come in by evening. But just think, yesterday evening, we were discussing, Brigadier Rumail Dahiya and I were discussing about this option. We discussed many options, and I felt there was an in-between option. And this is the option which we discussed, and certain amount of repercussions, what will be there is also put in the thing. Have a look at it, right? Right, yeah.
The war, there's a problem. Can we discuss one option? It's the in-between option. In-between option is America says, okay, I'll come in, I'll bomb Fordo, I'll bomb Natanz, and do nothing else. After that, you prosecute the whole thing. Is that feasible?
Yes, of course they can do that. They can say that, look, we have been asking you, they can tell the Iranians, we've been asking you to stop your nuclear activities. You haven't done. We have enough reason to believe, even if they don't have any evidence, they can still say, after all, even during Desert Storm, they did that. I mean, that Iraq possesses nuclear weapons, nuclear, chemical, biological weapons, NBC weapons. Now, so that they can say, we understand, we know, we are certain that you are continuing to do this activity, and we want you to totally stop it immediately and make a commitment. If you don't do that, we will have to destroy these. So, yes, they can do that. And probably that will satisfy Israeli supporters
and it will also satisfy his own supporters of not getting into an active war. So,
but
the more I think...
Just imagine what's going to happen as a result of this. The moment you do this, the chances of Iran walking out of NPT are very
It's
bright
gone.
even then.
No,
It's
no,
gone.
sir.
And they will
The
throw out the
moment
inspectors.
I have no doubt about it. What even this in-between option is not easy. It's in fact it's one of the most difficult options. But for many
Absolutely.
people, it might be the most easy option and the most politically suitable
Easy option to take. Easy option to. You see, often decisions get taken for want of an optimal kind of a option or choice. So you do take a less optimal decision, knowing fully well that it will only have a tactical effect, not a strategic effect.
I'll put it this way, sir. Knowing Trump, knowing USA, knowing everything, they could take this decision that, look, I'm going to do this, right? This is only the start. I'll do this and stop. Come and negotiate. If you don't, the guns restarts again. And this continues.
Do that.
So there is.
They can miscalculate. They can miscalculate.
No,
because
that
the
is
risk of
miscalculation can happen everywhere, sir. Look,
exactly.
I'm not. Miscalculations are inherent in every option which is there so far.
Absolutely.
In fact, this whole story is.
So, right. So this is what I had spoken yesterday, right? It was only yesterday that we spoke of this, that this is the in-between option which is likely to be adopted, and it has been adopted. Okay, what will be the repercussions of this is the point, and we'll see what are the options available, which way things will go. And I see some of you have come out with it, and what I'll do is, because we're still working on a time frame where complete thought process has not gone in. I'll take your questions, and through that lot of questions, we'll discuss this through. Right.
No.
Right. Just to put it in perspective, this is what has probably happened. You've seen this huge GBU, which is over 20 feet tall, go in deep depth and burst there. Right. This is one reaction which has come. Let's hear it.
But there are huge questions about what the reaction is and what happens next. Now, President Trump again says on Truth Social, he refers to let's make peace. Well, is Iran going to be ready to make peace? Now America has taken part in this bombing. What will the reaction be in the wider region, where we saw on Friday, after midday prayers, significant protests, tens, hundreds of thousands of people out on the streets in many countries throughout the region, angry at Israel's bombing, and a lot of that anger will now turn to the United States. As we've said, there will be huge concerns for the safety of US civilians, US military, US interests throughout this region, which are multifarious, in not just troops on the ground. You have the US Fifth Fleet docked in the region, in the Gulf. You have military camps spread throughout the region, but of course you have multiple businesses, embassies, consulates. So there are huge numbers of things to be of concern about. There have been certainly worries about the US consulate here in Tel Aviv and whether or not that would potentially be a site for retaliation.
So there's a whole lot of things which now the ball game is in a different direction. So let's recount the options available. Let me highlight the options available. First, from here on, Iran, after some thinking, first reactions apart, will say, okay, let's get to the negotiating table. That's probably one of the best options. Okay, now that they don't have anything, really have nothing, so end. If they do that, that's the end of the whole story, right? I mean, when I say whole story, things will follow. They say, no, now that you have done all this, I have nothing more to lose. I'll start attacks all over. There's an uprising in the Middle East. There's a sentiment which comes up in the Middle East, which people are talking. After all, US bases and troops are spread all over, right? Their interests are all over. Will that move up? Difficult at this point of time. No one has love lost for Iranian regime, but lone wolf attacks can't be taken out. Will Iran start a campaign, hybrid campaign? Very difficult, because Iran militias have been wiped out. So that is largely difficult. Remember, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, even Bahrain, all these states will be largely happy that what is happening to Iran. They might say something over the board, underneath there'll be something else. Houthis, as I see someone said, Houthis have said this is war, we will not allow anyone to go through Red Sea. They're at huge risk. If there's someone at risk today for a nuclear attack, it is the Houthis and Yemen. They might just drop a couple of tactical nuclear missiles out there and say, now you get through, now you try do what you want. That, in my way of looking at it, is the most vulnerable nuclear target at this point of time. It will be a demonstration. No one will, bother about it. No one's going to cry about what happens to Houthis and Yemen, and it will continue. It's not Iran, so to tame the big lion, you kill the cat, right? Then, of course, there could be follow-on strikes. There could be retaliation by Iran if Iran has the gumption to continue to fighting. They say, okay, we're going to fight. You come now, come on ground, which I'm sure no one in his right senses will go. So Iran can retaliate. So this will become a shooting match. But that shooting match is something which US might say, I'll not get involved. I'll not get involved in that shooting match. I've done what I have to do. I'm stepping out, and he'll tell Israel to do it. And Israel can do it as well as anyone else. And he'll got the capability, US has got the air defense capability to handle whatever Iran can throw it at it. And if there's an odd loss, they'll accept it. That's the way I look at it, right? But what after that? The question is, will there be a radiation leak? We don't know what's happened. We don't know what's the outcomes at Fordo, really speaking, because or Natanz or Esfahan. Unless you know what's happened there, you really don't know the options going ahead. So, to a large extent, we have to wait. We have to wait till some, news filters in about as to what has happened, what is the actual effect of these strikes. It's nice for Trump to say early morning, look, I've finished off the nuclear capability of Iran. We don't know. We don't know if Iran has kept that enriched uranium at another place, not these three at another place, and it already has a bomb or not. We don't know. And like I said, the worst case option for USA, mind you, not for Iran, not for Israel, for USA is that backpack bomb, which can land in USA through. And that might not happen now. It might happen even a month, 2, 3 months later. Unless Iran has anticipated and sent it out already. Then that's a different ball game altogether. That will trigger something which, I cannot think of at this point of time. But let's see how it plays out as we go along. Right. I don't have much more to say in terms of what has happened. I've just analyzed fundamental things. By evening, when we get more news, we get more details, then we can do more analysis. So what I'll do is I'll go through with your questions. I'll go through with your questions and then see. Because some of you have genuine questions, and answering those questions will get more thing. Yeah. Right. Iran siding with China instead of India, getting Chinese arms seems to be a cause of its destruction now. Well, that's a $1 million question. Had Iran relaxed its hold on its citizens, then it would have survived much longer. Look, Iran has not collapsed for it to survive. The Iranian regime is surviving. The issue which I will take from you, what is it? Is that will the citizens of Iran now rise against the regime? External regime change will not work. Let's be very clear. It's the internal thing which will work. People will say, look, we are fed up of what you're doing. Okay. We should have to see how the people, ultimately, wars are decided by people, not militaries, not by politicians. How the people behave will decide the course of the war. How the people of Iran will come up and react will force the regime to act. If the people of Iran say, no, this is something which is bad happened to us, fight on, then the regime will fight on. If the people of Iran says, no, this is the worst thing and you're the worst regime, we get out of the whole story, they'll get out. A pivotal moment. How it will play out is to be seen. Okay. I wonder if Iran will attack US bases now. How is Iran so weak? I don't get it. Yeah, this is a very important point. Can Iran attack US bases and interests in the Middle East? Can it close the Strait of Hormuz? Can it attack, UAE? Can it attack Saudi oil refineries and all that? Possible. Theoretically possible. Can it do so? That's the question. And how much can it do so? Right. As it is, what we know so far is 70 to 80% of its missiles have been intercepted. Long range missiles. Some have gone in and some have hit, uh, Israel. And some damage has happened. Does Iran have the targeting capability to take in all of this? All other interests? That's one. Number two, does it have the capability to, you know, actually go through with targeting everyone in the Middle East? Does it have that capacity? Doubtful. Does USA have the capacity to ward it off through their air defense? Because their air defense is not yet come in. It's only largely Israeli air defense which is in action. Yes, US has put all its troops on alert. Will Iran be foolish enough to do that? They might do it notionally in one other place, but beyond that, they don't have the capability. What are the repercussions of this? By now, the way I look at it, it's a joint operation by any set of standards. Israel would be hitting all those missile bases again. And there is complete ISR over Iran. ISR is surveillance and reconnaissance. They would be tracking all these missile sites, where these missiles could be hidden, where they could be brought out, and they'll be hitting them. Definitely, I'm talking militarily. Forget about the politics of this. Militarily, that action would have been left to Israel to do. US won't do it, and US will monitor, give all input to Israel, and Israel will execute it. Can Iran ward it off? No. Amidst all this, can Iran still fire a few missiles? Yes. Where can it fire is $1 million question. We'll see how that pans out. Because at this point of time, we don't have this thing. These are the options going ahead. Inflation going through the roof. We'll have to see if the oil flow from Strait of Hormuz stops. If that stops, inflation will go through the roof. Let's be very clear. It all depends on the Strait of Hormuz. Will Iran close the Strait of Hormuz? If the Strait of Hormuz is closed, how long can Iran close it? With what? In which case, can US troops and Israel carry out unlimited operations to open Strait of Hormuz? Yes, that's possible. So let's be very clear. Iran might not have the capability to close the Strait of Hormuz for a protracted period of time. They might fire a few missiles, put a few missile bases north of the Strait of Hormuz to close it, which can be taken out by aircraft, which can be taken out by drones, which can be taken out by ground action. That's a limited ground action, which is well within the capacity of Israel and USA. And I think that's an option which they would have rehearsed by now or planned. So that's how it is. But disruption, yes. Yeah, Hans, morning. Tarun, good morning. Sandeep Ingle, good morning. Besh, good morning. Rohan, also good morning. Yeah. Is there a radiation leak? We don't know, Sati. As of now, I really don't know. Okay, let's see how it is. How does this prevent Iran from making nukes later? They announced they already moved out the enriched uranium. The only way regime change will trap the US in the Middle East for decades. Look, Middle East, USA has been there for a long time, so that is not an issue. Will it stop Iran from making nukes later? Highly possible, because the facilities are gone. To reconstruct the facilities will take another 10 years. As it is yesterday, Iran had said it will take 2 years. Okay, let's look at it from a different angle. What has happened with Pakistan? Pakistan's air bases have still not come online. And what did we do? We hit them with 1 or 2 BrahMos missiles. They're not come. Why? There is no, money. with Pakistan to do all this, and they don't have capability. Iran also is in the same position. Their economy is not great. They don't have money to do all this. If the money goes off all this, there's a whole lot of destruction which has gone into Iran. So that is a issue. After the war, everything, it's once the heat of the war goes off, economy matters. Right? Will they have that? A whole lot of their people have been knocked off. Leadership. So it's going to take time. By then, regime change, this, that, and all that. So I think immediately the issue of Iran making nukes is out of the equation. The only danger is there's already enriched uranium. It's been converted into some kind of a weapon system. The Iranian regime, in the heat of taking some revenge, will throw something back. Is the issue. We don't know if possible, but we'll know in the next 48 hours max. Okay. Now Iran can walk out of NPT. I think so. It will walk out. Any case, if the nuclear facilities are gone so badly, then there's no question of walking out or walking in. It will be forced on them. You see, if the new enrichment facilities, whatever has happened, it doesn't matter. Okay, you will see a weak Iranian regime coming out, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Iran can walk out. If this regime succeeds and continues, then there are issues. But let us see. These are things which happen, right? NPT anticipated that number of nuke weapon states will grow over time. That will happen. That's bound to happen. But again, it depends on the outcome of what has happened. This is a bellwether kind of a situation. The outcomes in Iran, the way USA behaves, and whatever happens will dictate many things. For instance, Japan and South Korea are treaty partners to US. Okay, USA is supposed to give them a nuclear umbrella. So is with Israel. Now, USA will tell Japan and South Korea, don't get into nukes, we are here. China will now say, oh, look, USA can come in. We can't stop them. So, new equations will start. Those new equations are something which we have to see. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen with time when the dust settles and people put on their thinking caps. Like you asked, and I'm thinking. So people will ask such questions and people will think and come out with answers. Okay. Do we have bunker bursting bombs? You talk of India, we don't have. Let's be very clear. They are made from barrel of artillery. Kalyani has the barrels. No, they're not made from barrel of artillery. Sorry. You see, this steel is generally Marajing steel. Okay. Marajing steel is not what only Kalyani has. So many people in India have it. He's not. Look, let me tell you, Baba Kalyani and Bharat Fauj are great, but they're not the only people in India. Okay, they've got good PR. They're fantastic. Then no doubt they have tremendous capability, but they're not the only ones who have this capability. Remember this: India has much greater capability than any one company. Okay, remember this. I'm talking about the broader picture. I have been to Bharat Fort, fantastic facility, great. Mr. Baba Kalyani, I hats off to him for whatever he's done for India. But step back, India has bigger capability, but we don't have bunker busting bombs. And you don't, that Marajing steel is separate. Yeah, what impact will there be on NPT? I've said so, right? And I've already said so, right? Will other nations now exit this nuclear apartheid treaty? We'll see how it goes. These are two. Yeah. Wouldn't these bombings make Iranians more nationalistic and more anti-American? That's one possibility. The other possibility, they could be made more anti-regime. See, the thing is, till you have this nuclear capability, you're a king. If that nuclear capability is taken out, suddenly you're disarmed. People will say, okay, stop this nonsense. What is this nuclear capability given Iran? A lot of people will ask, I'll ask this also. For this nuclear capability, Iran has develop this nuclear capability at the expense of the people. That is what Pakistan has also done. Someday, someone in Pakistan will stand up and ask this question. What is nuclear capability? What is this military, which is outsized, given to Iran or Pakistan, or for that matter, even to China? Okay. In our case, the nuclear capability in our case has given us protection. It is not that protection is added to what people have got in terms of progress and development. Not in Pakistan, not in Iran. That capability has come at the people's expense. At some stage, people will start asking. Remember, there is a huge discontent within Iran. How much will it be triggered? I don't know. Is it possible that Russia and China will use Iran for their anti-American agenda and maybe hand over nukes behind us? No one will do that. Don't worry. No one will do it. Yeah. They are not too British and deep state planted them fine. Yeah. Good morning, General Sir. Even Yemen has threatened the US. Yemen will officially enter the war and keep your ships away from our territorial. Yeah, I mean, again, Yemen will be dealt with. Israel can deal with them. UK can deal with them. US will deal with them. There's so many forces out there. Like I said, if there is a nuclear war scenario or use of nukes, it could be on Yemen. A few tactical nuclear weapons can be directed at Yemen and those places, and that will put Yemen back. End of story. But will USA take that risk or not is to be seen. And how much will Yemen be able to last after what has happened to Iraq? Oh, sorry, Iran is to be seen. But it's a threat. It's a threat. It will have to be dealt with. What are the chances Iran will block the Strait of Hormuz? I've said so. Good chances. If the regime says this is the way I'm going to retaliate. But let's look at it. What will it get out of blocking the Strait of Hormuz? Oil prices will go up. Its oil revenues will go down. The chances are that US will, hit Cargill and it hit Iranian oil facilities. If that happens, it will cripple Iran. Who buys Iranian oil? China. Who will get hit? China will get hit. Will the rest of the world get hit? No, because the rest of the world doesn't but buy Iranian oil. Iranian oil is all dark shipping of China. Now, as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned, yes, they can block the Strait of Hormuz for some time. I have said yes to that. Oil prices will go up, but equally, then Iran and USA and Israel will open up the Strait of Hormuz. It's feasible. Because how will Strait of Hormuz be blocked? It's about 40-50 meters. Not the channel exactly is just about 40-50 meters. You can't go everywhere. If you flown across the Strait of Hormuz, you come to know. Not a big gap. That's a deep water channel, right? So they might sink a ship there. They might deploy missiles and that kind of a thing. And those will be on the northern side of Strait of Hormuz, Iran, not on the southern side. Southern side is Oman, right? Now those can be attacked. Those can be taken off by own drones, missiles, aircraft, everything. And even a ground-based attack can go in and secure the area, which frees Hormuz and allows it to be kept open. That's fully on the cards and will happen if Strait of Hormuz is closed. But I see if this is done, the loser will be Iran. Long term, loser will be Iran because Iran will be bereft of that Strait of Hormuz. In which case, look, we all said regime change, this, that, and all that. What if that part of Iran is captured, limited objectives, say 30-40 kilometers around Strait of Hormuz north, which is well within the capability of any force, a strong force. And that is hived off from Iran. Iran doesn't have control over that area forever hereafter. It will be a liberated zone. We hand it over to Oman. or Saudis or whatever. What happens then? So don't lose those options. Yeah. Yeah, waiting for this eagerly. Thank you. YouTube deleted my question when I said USA is the most unstable country and it should give up its nuclear weapons first. YouTube is blatantly shameless. Well, that's how it is. This is a rise of dominance of US and Pakistan in the Middle East and is dangerous. Where does Pakistan come up? Get don't don't get so Pak centric. If US is not able to impose regime change in Iran, the utility of Pakistan for US increases manifold. This may continue for the next 10 years. Yes, I agree with you. In which case, Pakistan has problems. Any regime change in US, Pakistan will have problems. Let's not have any doubts about it. And if it's for 10 years, Pakistan might break up. Yesterday only I spoke in the morning about Balochistan and I explained to you the issues. Okay? Yeah, Jai Hind Raj Gandhi. Israel wants to stop Iran from making news. The US wants to cut out 50% of China's oil supply, thereby potentially cripple their export economy. Different levels of geopolitics play here. Yeah, there are layers to this. I agree with you completely. 100% regime change happening. It's going to be in America's terms. Let's see. I don't see it happening in a hurry. We'll see how it is, how it plays out. Let's not jump the gun. Yeah, your predictions will now lead you to the honorary of Jyotish Kare. No, I'm not interested in anything. Yeah. So will Bangladesh, Malaysia get into Iran bandwagon and attack US allies in neighborhood APAC? Yeah, forget it. They don't have that capability. Mullah Munir nominated him for Nobel Prize and that too for peace. Well, that's how it is. So Mullah Munir can't do anything now, no? He'll keep quiet. He's already supporting USA. In supporting USA, he's supporting Iran, Israel, and against Iran. So Pakistan is in trouble, whichever way it goes. And now it is switched pivoted away from China also. So there are changing equations in Pakistan. We'll handle it. Should I install any desk so you can check on my online banking? Don't. Whatever Iran does, is China doing as they are supplying the nuclear weapons? I will discuss about China tomorrow. Okay. Great insights. Thanks a lot. What can Iran do now? Just give up or escalate? I've given you the options. What can Iran do? It can give up, it can escalate, and it can fight a hybrid war. But what are the capabilities of Iran to do all that? Right? Iran can continue with what it is without a regime change, and that will be the worst. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, how is it possible to block Straits of Hormuz? I've explained. I explained to you, and then right at this point of time, SN, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Favin86 gifted one membership. Thanks a lot for this gift. Is it possible to confirm nuclear weapon destruction possible unless boots on ground? I don't think nuclear weapons destruction is not on the cards. It's nuclear enrichment facilities and enriched uranium. Now we'll see. We'll see the outcome of that as to how it goes. Because I said immediately we don't know what's happened. As we go along, we'll come to know exactly what's happened. Okay, and we'll come to know reports which come in. Based on that, we'll take an analysis. Yeah, this is conspiracy theory territory, so ignore. Could the strikes have gone done in agreement with Iran? No. Yeah, why play the Islamist Brigadier Dahiya perspective again? He said, well, Venkatraman, I think you are completely wrong. You are completely wrong. Okay. Brigadier Daya, from what I know, he is not an Islamist. In fact, if there's anything, he's a bit of a rightist, right? But he's done an analysis. He knows the area, he's done an analysis, he knows the people. You have to respect an analysis. You have to respect, and he has done a 360-degree analysis. I think you should, Venkatraman, you should open your mind to accept that analysis. You should know what everyone is doing. Okay, be clear about that. Right? Why Israel didn't ask India to provide warhead material, defense material, missiles, tanks? We don't need. They don't need. They're getting everything from USA. Why do they need everything from us? Right? And India will not give Israel anything against Iran. Let's be very clear about that. We can't do it. Geopolitically, we can't do it, and we shouldn't do it. Is this a red line movement cross for Iran? Of course it is. Yeah, good morning. Thanks a lot, Kumud. And also Jai Gopal, good morning. Iran can put mines in water easily to do the missile. Yeah, you can demine it. So what if mines are there? There'll be some risk, someone will die, but it will get demined. Murli A, good morning. General Sir, with Iran gone, US will now try to arm twist India for not bowing down. What is your no, don't worry. Slammer Jam, don't worry. Iran is not gone first and foremost. The problem is just right. Don't think just by bombing Fordo, Iran is gone. One. Number two, India can't be arm twisted. That I've been telling you, India can't be arm twisted by USA at all. If that happens, USA is in for grief. And USA could not arm twist India in 1971. Those of you who don't know, this damn 7th Fleet was off Chennai coast, a little south of Chennai coast or Tamil Nadu coast. Yet we didn't flinch. Today we're far stronger. And US doesn't have the capability to handle India. It probably has the capability of handling Iran because Iran was weakened after so much sanctions and regime change and that mullah regime and internal problems, and it couldn't do much. It couldn't progress. Whatever US has been able to do with Iran is after so many years of 10 years of preparation, 12, 15 years of preparation. With India is the fourth largest economy. If India is twisted, then what happens to US economy? Don't get into that. Yeah. Yeah, Trump parroted Israel's point of being supposed biggest sponsor of terrorism. Well, I agree with you to some extent, but the fact remains that Israel did promote terrorism through Hamas, through Hezbollah, and through Houthis, and through Syria, and also with Shia militias in Iraq. So Iran has been one of the biggest sponsors of terrorism. Only thing that terrorism was not directed against you. It was against Israelis and larger Middle East. It did threaten Saudis. It did threaten UAE. It did threaten Qatar many times with terrorism. So that's not off the cards. Okay. It was a thermobaric bomb. No, I don't think so. Is it the same? Is it the first time bunker busters have been used? Yes, Srinivas, first time. What is the point in signing $400 billion investment with China? That's a question which everyone will now ask. Whoever is signing anything with China, they'll ask this question. And this is what we'll discuss tomorrow. Who's the biggest loser of India, Pakistan, Op Sindoor? Who's the biggest loser of Iran, Israel, Rising Lion? It is China. And we'll discuss this tomorrow. We cannot change a regime through air raids. Yeah, my doubt is they already have 90% uranium for 2-3 small bombs, because if they can construct this much and try, it can't be ruled. I agree with you. Will Iran strike back? We'll see by evening. Okay. The regime has to know that US and Israel ultimate goal is overthrowing their government by now, right? Yeah, they should definitely. I agree with you. What are the odds of Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz? Could that help Iran win in some way or help them achieve ceasefire? No. They could do that and say, I'll open the Strait of Hormuz, let's have for a ceasefire. You know, they have to have some bargaining chip. Because the nuclear bargaining chip is gone one step back. So they could do it. But will they do it is a question mark because they'll still be licking their wounds. All this will roll out. By evening, we'll know exact. Look, the thing is that we don't know the exact extent of the damage. Once you know the exact extent of the damage, then things will fall in place. Don't you think people have been taking the so-called uprising in the Middle East too seriously, which is blackmailing ploy to carry out terrorism with impunity? I agree with you. At many places, everyone wants to save his own skin. Pakistan ISI now to pay their so-called YouTubers to propagate propaganda of how even in India there is. Oh, that's okay. They'll keep doing it. What happens to Armenia? Is Azerbaijan going to get an upper hand? I think somewhere people have to take a balance and say let's have peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Remember, Israel has cultivated Azerbaijan. They have collaborated with Turkey to do so. Americans will use Azerbaijan now. At the same time, they've been supporting Armenia. They mix things. That's too small. Don't worry. Yeah, Iran says Fordo is safe, only entry exit is restricted. That's what they'll say. We don't know. We don't know. Who knows? If your regime fails, IRGC can become a Shia militia in the Middle East. Yeah, that's a possibility, like it happened in Iran. What impact will there be on NPT, which India does not recognize? Will other nations now exit this nuclear apartheid treaty? Will others we discussed this earlier. Do you think the action, whether taken by USA, is right from a military point of view? Well, this is an option. Whether it's right or wrong, we'll have to see every option as a fallout, and what the fallout is, we'll come to know. So, okay, we'll see how it is. Okay, let's see whether it's right or wrong. Only history will tell. Okay, unless there's a decisive action in this, it's not a decisive action as we can make out. It'll become a decisive action maybe later in the day, or 2 days, or 3 days. America's military might, absolute military might, gives me goosebumps, sir. When will India become like that? Your estimate, please. Well, we'll never be that. Let's be very clear. For that to happen, it'll take you another 50, 100 years. Let's not hope for that. Does this increase the chances of IMEC will get completed? Thank you for the great analysis. Yes, it'll get complicated, not even completed. It'll get complicated because whatever IMEC, everything can happen only when Iran achieves some stability. Hi, sir. Thanks a lot, Indra Mohan Gupta. Thanks a lot, Lofi. Do you think internal uprisings will intensify and cause regime change? Let's see. Too early to say. Good evening. India still wins. Yeah. Chinese oil stop, Baloch Iran flank weakened to let them concentrate on Pakistan. Iran not support Kashmir. No longer an issue, right? No, and one less radical. Yeah. India will, I told you yesterday only, whatever happens, India will be okay. What are the implications for IMEC delay? We listen to many points of by many points of view by likes of you. How we Indian got nuclear bomb with many threats by personnel, park ministers, military, geopolitics, deep sec. We'll talk of this some other day. Not today. We can make a software considered certain parameters and make decision making easier during conflict. Sorry, game theory. All this is nonsense. Let me tell you. When you come into this thing, everything vanishes, and this starts working. There's the best game theorists. Don't go too much by all these computer theories, all that. All they give you the options, broad options, and yet that option will not be adopted. USA has vowed North Korea has vowed USA will pay for its acts on Iran. Will North Korea now be nervous that it could be attacked next? I don't think so. North Korea has to make some noise. It has made. How serious it will be, we'll see. Because Russia is not speaking, China has not spoken. So where does North Korea come in? Between your last night show and this morning show, events have shown again how predictable is Trump in his decisions. Just 12 hours ago, Trump was not expected to attack Iran again. Did I say that? That's the thing I read. What if he goes in for a in-between option? Yesterday, if you notice what I said in the next 2-3 days. Okay. I said the next 48 hours will be crucial. Didn't I say that? So he's not that unpredictable. People were talking of 2 years. Yesterday, Brigadier Dahiya also said, no, 2 years, 2 weeks and all that. I just kept quiet to let him speak. Okay. But if you see what all I spoke yesterday, I did say next 12 to 48 hours are crucial. 2 to 3 days, something major can happen. And I've given this option yesterday. That's why I put the 2-minute clip. So JP, whatever I've discussed so far, I mean, this is something which I must tell everyone. There is not a single option which I have not discussed has come true or come. Every option every action which has played out has been discussed by me and foreseen by me, and I put it in some form. Right? So please, that is what I do. I'll give you all the options. Whatever option someone takes is his way of looking at it. I was very clear that something is going to happen. Watch yesterday night's program. You'll see that. Assuming Iran still becomes a nuclear state, do you think it will inevitably lead to a nuclear race with Turkey? This is too much in the far horizon. Too much. Does this increase the chances of IMEC will go through? Yeah, I turn to you once I hear the headline. Look, IMEC will get delayed now. Let's be very clear. IMEC will get delayed. Did US bombers took flight from PF air bases to strike? No. These would have taken off from Diego Garcia or come from Diego Garcia, staged through a aircraft carrier and taken off. Okay. They have already put B-2 bombers in Diego Garcia. What do Gulf countries want out of this as an end game? We'll see that through the day we'll come to know. Okay, as it is, we'll come to know. Yeah. So Hormuz is 40 to 50 kilometers. That's okay, Ravi. I said 30, 35. You're saying 40, 50. That's minor. You shrink a ship in that middle, then it's a problem. It'll take a little more time because you have to pull that fellow out and all that. How should India navigate this situation? Just keep quiet and play an even hand. Usko band kar do. Play an even hand. That's about all. At this point of time, don't Sorry. Please unmute, sir. No audio. Sorry. Thanks. Sorry. It was a thing. Yeah. Unmuted. Yeah. Yeah. The last thing. Yes. Sorry. I am very sorry. I didn't notice it. All good questions. We can't hear. I'll spend 5 minutes on this. Again, I'll go. Sorry. My mistake. Let me go to that. Okay, if a Syria type situation emerges where state forces can no longer properly defend the country, will Ayatollah be allowed to run into exile? Could we see him sharing a bunk with Assad? And yeah, possible. Already, some information which I've got is the current regime's people, their families are already in Russia. Okay, and if Syria type of a situation can emerge, but we'll see how it goes. It can emerge. This is one of the things which Pakistanis are worried about. Pakistanis are worried about this. Because if a Syria type of a situation emerges, Balochistan will go unstable. And then that puts Pakistan in great danger, puts China in danger, puts USA in danger. This is something they can't control if it happens. This is a very interesting question, and I'll talk of this maybe in the evening. Yeah, I'm sorry again. Yeah, 10 minutes of lost questions. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. If there's a regime change in Iran, why should the USA expect it to be any different than what happened in Iraq after they? Yeah, it won't. Iran also will follow the Iraq way. Look, please understand, there are about 5 to 6 years of instability. That's the minimum after this. Okay. I don't know how many of Iran's proxies trust the regime now. They got humiliated repeatedly and have no control over the skies. The regime that built its reputation on fear stands. I agree with you. There's no trust left. The proxies are weakened. Okay. Let's not have any doubt about that. Proxies are weakened. In fact, they're almost non-existent except Houthis. So what happens to Houthis will be interesting. We'll know by evening, because as I'm speaking, I'm not seeing what's happening. But then not much can happen. We'll come to know everything, but something by evening, then it'll unfold. This is a long game. Understand that. Yeah, why do you undermine China? They're 100 years ahead of us, which truth you cannot ignore, but that is the truth. I don't agree with you. Sorry. I don't agree with you, Gurmeet. Thanks for your contribution, but China is done and dusted. It's big, it's huge. For the next 4-5 years, China will be in internal turmoil. Their economy is not going to revive, and geopolitically, they've been marginalized. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to talk of the geopolitical decline of China. Unless you understand that over a period of 5-6 years, what has happened, you will say they are 100 years ahead of us. Please, enough of Chinese nonsense, enough of their propaganda, enough of paid propaganda by the Chinese through Westerners. See, the Westerners can be bought. See, please understand that. Yeah, it seems the Jewish lobby successfully pressurized to take decisive action. Possible. Yeah. Once things get too difficult for Pakistan, it will say that some enriched uranium is unaccounted, putting the fear in people. Possible. That's a realistic scenario. But let's see. All this we'll see. We'll come to know. Right? There'll be still some unknowns. How American interfering in Israel war is not concerning for other concerns. It is. It's damn well concerning. Yeah. Will Israel declare unilateral ceasefire? It will not. Yeah. How might we leverage the current opening with Iran to recalibrate our regional posture and position India as a credible actor? I said we are in a We are in the driver's seat at this point of time. Some of our people have still been flown out of Iran yesterday. That will not stop. In fact, as days go by, Israel and Iran will turn towards us. We have interests in both. Don't worry. Yeah, the major question is if radiation leak happens, then the kind of tragedy that the people of Iran will have to go through is frightening, and that could trigger a revolt. Your thoughts? Go with you. That I go with you. Okay, we are in a state where we don't know what's going to happen fully. We are in a state of high unpredictability. So be patient, right? We'll be patient. I know a lot of questions. I'm again sorry for that snafu by me, where I didn't put the mic on. Okay, that's why I'm spending 4-5 minutes more to answer. Because BB was able to manipulate Trump successfully, or because US truly believes that Iran is a threat to them? Both. It's not a magic of Jewish lobby, it's both. Some manipulation by Iran, some conviction by US, and Trump needs some victory. He feels this is a victory. Let us see, because whether he's war gamed everything, we don't know. Is it true that Fordo is under 800 meters of a mountain that could take hundreds of bunker bursters to get through? It's like digging a hole through 10 feet thick concrete by firing 9mm. Well, we don't know. We don't know. But if the entrances are completely blown up, then end of story. I would not try to penetrate the mountain from the top. I will try it because that shake itself might kill the facility inside. But if I target and seal off the entrances and seal off the electricity, it's done. So this much I'm sure the Americans know. They would have done target analysis completely. Remember, the IEA chaps, the Atomic Energy Commission chaps, have gone in and seen Fordo. They know exact layout of Fordo. That the Americans would know. So don't discount what the Americans have done. The thing is post-strike damage assessment, where it's going. Can US help Pakistan against India? Forget it. Yeah, computers give you the least risky options. Safest options are human beings. Yes, I agree with you. That game theory and all won't work. Don't worry. Is this the start of terrorism in USA? No, I don't think so. They're already terrorists in some manner. Do you think India's defense minister visit to China is more a symbolic one, or are we trying to hedge our risk? Both. We're also trying to hedge our risk. Look, at the end of the day, we don't want a war with China. We might not like China. We don't like China. We are in competition with China. They are our virtual enemies today. They're our enemy number one. We still don't want a war. Why do you want a war? Because that will put you back. So you have to manage them. You have to hedge. You have to hedge against USA. You have to hedge against. You're a big player. You don't fight wars. Even China is fighting through Pakistan. They don't want to fight directly with you. So let's play this game. We should know how to play this game. I heard B2 took off from Digo Garcia, refueling before entering Iran. Possible. Given the precision of the US airstrikes at Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan, what is the likelihood that Iran will use Hezbollah or other proxies for military response? Hezbollah is no force left. Lebanon itself, Lebanon people have told Hezbollah, keep quiet. If you don't, you're going to get hit. Yesterday, I think Iran sorted out a few Hezbollah sites. So that's it. Yeah. Yeah, what's next? Is there going to be a world war now? We are in World War III, the way I look at it. Yeah, you had your first boomer moment on the show. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, have you ever heard of Peter Zehen in China? Please listen to him first. General Saab has much more optimistic views about China. Yeah, I agree with you. He's on an extreme, but I think he's too much of an extreme. You need to be a little towards realistic. Okay, China is literally nowhere to be found during this conflict. Nobody respects what the Chinese. Rohan, I completely agree with you. Join me tomorrow morning. We're going to discuss the geopolitical decline of China. Okay. Bushehr has not been touched. Will Russia keep itself aside from this conflict? Russia has got already said we're going to be neutral. In fact, they're heading towards USA. They've let down Iran. Look, unfortunately, in this, Iran went into a deal with Russia. Russia has let them down. Iran went into a deal with China. China has let them down. That whole story of trick, upheaval, access of upheaval, and all has gone. Iran has been left isolated. Okay. Iran is not as smart as Pakistan. Pakistan sells itself and it's pivoted. It's now that's a different story. Pakistan knows how to do this. It's got experience. Iran doesn't have. So Iran is paying for it. Right? That's the sad part of the story. Today evening, I'm sure with Shreya here, we're going to discuss the implications of whatever has happened here. Right? Okay. With this, thanks a lot. Sorry for that snafu again. I feel so bad. 10 minutes or 7 minutes. It's my mistake. I hope you'll bear with me. With this, thanks a lot. We'll meet in the evening at 8:30. Bye. Have a great day.